What are your thoughts on what's going on with the Giants and Eli Manning, Daryl?
I was really surprised to hear that. We actually had the San Francisco 49er Giant game, and that was kind of the first time that some of this discussion popped up, and it was about Davis Webb, and it was more about maybe the potential for some end of the game opportunities for Davis Webb if the score had gotten away from the Giants. It was not about Eli sitting down and Geno Smith coming in as the starter. And even that week, Ben McAdoo said, Eli Manning gives us the best opportunity to win the game. And I don't know what's changed from the preparation getting ready for the 49ers game until where we are this week, where all of a sudden Geno Smith gives the Giants the best opportunity to win the game. So I was surprised. I was disappointed. I know Eli has always said it's not about the streak, but I had a streak going, and when it ended, it was really disappointing to me. This is disappointing in my mind for Eli. Just everything that he's done. I remember in 2007 him fighting to get on the field a couple of times with that shoulder injury. He's been a warrior, and the biggest ability a quarterback can bring to a team is availability, and he's been awesome. He's been an Iron Man, and I just felt he needed to be treated with more respect if this was the decision you were going to make and the direction you were going to go.
Well, when you chatted with McAdoo, when you've been around him, okay, I forget who was on our show, Brockman, recently, who said there are some lieutenants and then there are generals.
That's right.
I forget who said that. One of our football-related guests that have been on recently. At any rate, that essentially that some coordinators aren't intended to be head coaches. What vibe do you get off of McAdoo when you meet with him, Daryl?
I would agree with that assessment. I haven't been around Ben enough. I think he's grown from last year to this year, and especially since the time we had him when he was just the offensive coordinator with the Giants under Tom Coughlin. So there has been growth, but I know exactly what your guest was saying. I've been around coaches where they can be great coordinators, but they're not going to be a good head coach. They can be great position coaches and maybe not a good coordinator. So, not to say that they've reached their plateau, but it's just they've got to grow. They've got to add more to the resume that they're going to present, and you can tell that right away with leadership is one of the big things. There's so much that goes into being a head coach. The way you handle the press, and that was one of the things that I think started this whole thing. It seemed to me that Ben McAdoo was backed into a corner by a question after that Rams game where he opened the door to say that every player, every position was going to be evaluated this week, including the quarterback position. And that's kind of the first time I'd heard that dialogue, and probably the first thing that got us to the point where we're at now with Eli not starting this.
Now, I know that, and at that time, after that very press conference, Daryl, I said, I don't know what McAdoo's thinking, because the ownership is never going to let Ben McAdoo script the end of Eli Manning's Giants career, and yet here we are. And there's no way that what was going on in Dallas last year, for instance, with Dak and Romo, that Jerry Jones wasn't involved with every single second of that decision, right, Moose?
Yeah, exactly. Everybody's involved with that. Jason Garrett's going to be a part of it. Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, Will McClay, everybody. Even Romo. Romo's going to be a part of that decision as well. So, this is not something that Ben McAdoo was going to do by himself. John Mara, Steve Tisch are going to be a part of it. There's going to be a number of people that are going to decide this, and I'll have to listen to your interview with Mike Francesa to find out, because he's going to know more. And one of the great things I've heard today doing all this discussion on this topic is, David Deal is right there at the Giants training facility, and he walked out to get coffee earlier this morning during a break, and he goes, I walk out, and who are the two people I see? I see Eli Manning helping Davis Webb with the game plan. And that just, there's just another, little cog to this whole decision. Who does that? I mean, how great of a guy is Eli Manning? Here he is going through one of the most difficult weeks of his life, and his focus is on helping the guy who could be backing up the guy that took his position get ready for the game.
But he's not even going to be active, it doesn't seem like. Apparently, Eli's the second. That's the thing, too. It's just that if you make this decision, start the kid. Not the veteran that's had a shot for the team that you share the building with, that your Giant fan base has nothing but disdain for, right? And then start that guy and have Eli as the backup and put an earbud in his ear and make him stand on the sideline. It's just nuts.
If Ben McAdoo really wants to know what he has in Geno Smith, I'm sure there's tens of thousands of Giants fans he could call and ask their opinion. I would be able to help him out with that.
The Jets, too, would be very vocal on that.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.